But we are going to focus on the Kevin Durant injury, the big talking point of the week. It has been, after the X-ray, confirmed that it's a grade 2 MCL sprain and a tibial bone bruise, which was originally feared to be a fracture, which was the original fear was that he was done for the season. That's if it was a fracture. It's a bone bruise, so the current prognosis is 4 weeks, and then they'll reevaluate. The key is that 4 weeks doesn't mean he's back. Reevaluate doesn't mean he's straight back. 4 weeks would take him to around the 30th of March. Playoffs start April 15th. So he's not going to be at his peak fitness come the start of playoffs, but he should have enough time to get back. But they're going to miss him. And the question is, can they hold on to that first seed in the West with San Antonio breathing down their neck? They're only 3 games behind them, and they play each other twice in the home stretch.
Well, it's going to be hard to this year they've relied on him heavily. He brings a lot to them, not just offensively, but defensively
I think
as well.
If Steph and Clay can get out of their shooting slump, they will manage. It's defensively where they're going to miss him the most. Obviously, he was having a career year defensively, 1.6 blocks, 1.1 steals. He was, along with Draymond, they were the anchors defensively. That's a huge loss. It just shows how fragile a season can be. Like, one injury can just change everything.
Whole complexion. Because they were literally a lock for first.
They were rolling, yeah.
They were a lock for first seed. Now it's a little bit of doubt.
There is a little bit of doubt, especially the fact that they play the Spurs twice. Obviously, a lot of people have used the excuse, this is a team that went 73-9, they'll be fine.
But it's not the same team.
It's not the same team.
They lost Barnes.
They lost Bogut. They lost Azili. They lost Spates. They lost all their big men. So this is not the same team that went 73-9. And it showed because obviously they lost to the Wizards, which was the game that Durant got injured in early in the first quarter. They then lost to the Bulls. They only scored 87 points versus the Bulls, which was their lowest score of the season.
Yeah.
It was the first time they've lost back-to-back games since April 2015. Then their next game, a very unconvincing win against the Knicks. And then by the time you're listening to this, they will have played the Hawks as well. Obviously, it's going to take them a little bit of time because guys like McGee, Zaza, West, McAdoo, they're getting more minutes and they have to work out how they play with the rest of the guys because they haven't had those rotations. But they're going to struggle, especially if Steph and Clay keep shooting like they have. In the last 4 games, Steph is 9 of 44 from 3 or 20%, and Clay is 11 of 42 or 26%. So that is a bad time to have a shooting slump.
Yeah, very bad. Just shocking.
They need the MVP Steph back if they're gonna hold on to that first seed.
I haven't seen that same Steph for a long time.
We've seen him in glimpses, but we've not seen him consistently since last year.
Yeah.
Since the regular season, to be honest. The interesting thing is that if they do fall to second seed, there is a high chance that they'll be playing the Thunder in the first round.
Oof. And
Thunder,
you can't sleep on them, I know.
You can't sleep on Westbrook. So, as we say, if they can hold on to that first seed, they probably don't need Durant for the first round. That's the thing. Do you bring him back? Because, as I say, April 15th is when the playoffs start. May 1st is when the second round begins. So if it's May 1st, they need him back. That gives him a month and a bit after the 4 weeks to try and get back, which would be achievable. But if they need him in the first round, he's not going to be 100%.
Nah, nowhere near.
So it's going to be really interesting. It's certainly flipped the season on its head and given some big questions, that's for sure. But yeah, the Spurs will be gunning for that first seed.
They're just silently...
Yep, as usual, silently under the radar. But no, certainly it was looking like, even the Warriors, when they signed Matt Barnes straight away, it was looking like they thought it was season over. So it's not a death knell, but it's bad. They need him back, and hopefully he can get back and help them out.
Who knows, even when he comes back, because he relies on the run and gun. If your knees are shot...
We saw Steph, he's had injuries in the playoffs now. I know some of his performance may not be from the injuries, but he was not the same player after the knee injuries and the ankle stuff last year in the playoffs. He wasn't the same player. And there is certainly part of that was to do with the injury. So it's going to be interesting, that's for sure.